to be using a stability ball for class if you have one. So have that close by. If you don't have a stability ball, that's no problem. I'm going to offer modifications for not having a ball. So you're good either way. Let's go ahead and get warmed up. So we'll lie down on our backs. And let's go ahead and hug the knees in toward the chest and hold. Okay, let's bring the feet down to the mat. Lengthen the arms down to the sides. And we'll go ahead and roll the head from side to side to loosen up the neck. All right, then let's work down to the shoulders. So let's go ahead and reach the arms straight up toward the ceiling. Lengthen and stretch overhead. Lift back up. And then lower down to the side. So as we reach overhead, palms face up. As we come down, palms face down. So again, lengthen and reach. Keep the back of the shoulders anchored. All right, then let's bring the arms out to the sides with the palms facing up. We're going to slide the arms, again, reaching as far as you can overhead, and then extending and reaching down towards the hips. So all the way through the movement, the palms stay facing up. Back of the shoulders should stay pressed down. You want to reach and stretch as far as you can in both directions. Okay, let's let the arms rest down to the side. And we're going to go ahead and loosen up the lower back and the pelvis. So let's tilt the pelvis forward and then back. So again, we're tilting forward and back. As we tilt forward, we're bringing and arching the back up off of the mat. As we tilt back, we're pressing the lower back down nice and tight into the mat. So again, going as far as you can in each direction. Good. All right, then we're going to go ahead and keep our knees bent. Legs are going to stay hips width apart. We want our feet to sit right under the knees. Again, we're opening the chest, keeping the upper back anchored. We're going to tuck the pelvis, draw in the abdominals, lift the hips up so that the lower back comes up off of the mat, and then roll right back down, keeping the chest open. Again, we'll tuck the pelvis and lift. And then as we lower, we're just rolling down one vertebrae at a time, all the way down. Again, we want to keep the upper back anchored. And again, we're tucking, lifting, going a little bit higher each time. Just working on loosening up the spine and the lower back. And again, last one, as we lift up, go a little bit higher. And then we're rolling down, feeling each part of the spine press into the mat. All right, let's reach the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. We're anchoring the back of the hips. We'll go ahead and circle that leg around, reaching as far as you can. Up, out to the side, down, and across. Again, we want to make sure the upper body stays anchored and stable. Let's reverse directions. We're drawing in those lower abdominals. All right, let's switch over to the opposite side. So again, we're lengthening and reaching up. Again, nice full range of motion as we reach around, up as high as we can, out, down, and across. And let's reverse directions. And just make sure you're keeping the rest of the body stable so we really isolate the hip. All right, let's lower down. We're going to go ahead and pull the knee in toward the chest and then lengthen and reach the leg out away from the body. So we're in and extending out. Inhale as we stretch in, exhale out. Again, we're keeping the upper body stable. We want the leg coming straight off of the hip all the way through the movement. And then let's switch to the opposite side. Inhale in, exhale and extend. And again, we're reaching as far as we can in both directions. Getting loosened up in the hip. We want that leg to come straight out from the hip, not off to the side or to the center, coming straight out. All right, let's lower back down. We're going to lift both legs up, keeping our knees bent. Let's draw in those lower abdominals. We're going to lower down one leg at a time and alternate sides. Exhale as we lower, inhale as we lift. Again, keeping that upper body stable and anchored. Check the neck, make sure that it's staying relaxed. Again, exhale down, inhale up, just hinging at the hip. Again, then we're going to press both legs together. Again, as we lower down, we're not letting the pelvis shift or tilt. All that movement is coming right in the hip joint as we lower the legs. Again, exhale down and inhale up. Exhale and inhale. Really work hard again to draw those lower abs in. We don't want to push them out or just tighten them. We really want to actively scoop and hollow out those lower abs. Again, just to make sure we're properly supporting the core and the pelvis as we go through the movement. Okay, let's go ahead and lower back down. All right, if you've got a stability ball, let's go ahead and grab that now. So if you don't have a stability ball, for this first series, you're just going to hold the arms straight as if you were holding the ball. And obviously, if you do have the ball, I'll be demonstrating with that. So we're going to go ahead and start off reaching the ball straight up. We're going to lift head and shoulders up. Just gently nod the chin in so that the arms are angled slightly forward from the shoulders. We're going to pull one knee in, opposite leg lengthens out, then we'll alternate sides. So again, if you don't have a ball, you're just holding the arms in this same position. Steady, deep breaths. Keep the back of the hips anchored. Use those abs to keep the shoulders lifted. Again, we want to gently nod the chin in to keep any strain off of the neck. Good, all right, let's go ahead and lower back down. And again, we're going to lengthen those arms up. Lift head and shoulders, nod the chin, and we'll go ahead and pull both knees in, and then we're going to press the legs out. Inhale in, exhale out. So again, the upper body stays stable and lifted. Be careful that you're not shrugging the shoulders. And we want to make sure the lower back isn't lifting off of the mat. Exhale out, inhale in. Good, let's go for two more. Good, all right, let's go ahead and lower down. So we'll set the ball off to the side for right now. And we're gonna lengthen our arms down to the sides, anchor the entire back, scoop in our lower abs. Let's lift both legs straight up toward the ceiling. And we're gonna go ahead and lower down one leg at a time, go all the way down and back up. We're alternating sides. If this bothers your hip or your back, just bend your knees slightly. And if you'd like more of a challenge, lift the head and shoulders, nod the chin in. And again, we're just alternating sides. Inhale as we lift, exhale as we lower. Again, we're lengthening and reaching the legs. Again, if this is straining your back, of course, just go ahead and bend the knees slightly as you go through the movement. And again, you've got the upper body lifted. Only if you want more of a challenge. Good, lengthen and reach those legs. Good. All right, let's lower back down. And again, we're going to lengthen both legs straight up. Anchor the upper body. Make sure the neck muscles are relaxed. We're going to go ahead and lower both legs down away from the body. Come right back up. Again, you can bend the knees. That will take some of the strain off of the back. Exhale down, inhale up. Again, as you lower, just pay attention to those lower abdominals. If you feel like they start to push out, or if you feel a strain in your back, just don't go down any farther than that. Come to that point, stop, and come right back up. So really just listen to your body. Again, exhale down, inhale up, keeping that upper body anchored, scooping in those abs. Good, let's go ahead and lower back down. All right, so again, we're gonna lift head and shoulders, nod the chin, lengthen the arms, lift one leg up, keeping the knee bent. Opposite leg is gonna lengthen out, and we're just gonna lower and lift the lengthened leg. And if this is too challenging, just go ahead and lower the upper body back down on the mat, but do the same movement with the legs. Again, exhale down, inhale up. Keep those shoulders lifted. Nice long neck, chin nodded in. Good, let's switch to the other side. So same thing. Inhale up, exhale down. And again, we're drawing in those abs. We want to make sure that the back of the hips stay anchored. Head and shoulders lifted. Lengthen and reach the arms. And again, if this is too much of a strain for you, just go ahead and lower the upper body down. We'll do the same movement with the legs. Good, all right, let's go ahead and lower back down. And then we're gonna lengthen both legs straight up toward the ceiling. And again, we're gonna lift head and shoulders, nod the chin, and pulse. Inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Again, you can bend the knees if that puts too much strain on the back or the hips. Or if you want more of a challenge, lower the legs down farther away from the body. Again, inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Quick rhythm with the arms. Work hard to keep those shoulders lifted. And breathe. Good, be careful you don't start to shrug the shoulders. Again, we want to keep that long neck. All right, let's lower down and hug the knees in toward the chest. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna sit all the way up. And we're gonna start off reaching both legs straight out. We're going to flex the feet, anchor the legs. Again, if this puts a lot of strain on your hips or your back, bend the knees just to make sure you can keep that back nice and tall. So start off lengthening both arms out. Gently press the shoulders down. Take a deep breath in at the top. Exhale, nod the chin in, lengthen forward. Inhale back up to the top. And exhale forward. So again, we want that lower body to stay stable. Sitting up as tall as we can at the top. Again, we're drawing up, nice tall spine. Try to activate and anchor those legs. Squeeze the glutes. We're using the whole body here. Again, inhale up. Exhale and reach. Good, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and reach. Hands behind the head with the elbows out. Again, nice tall posture. Drawing in those lower abdominals. Again, just like someone's grabbing the top of your head and pulling up, lengthening you up. But again, check the neck and shoulders. Make sure they're staying relaxed. Inhale at the top. Exhale as we extend forward. Inhale up. Exhale forward. So again, all the way through the movement. Envision lengthening that spine up and then lengthening out toward the toes. Again, drawing in those abs. We want the feet to stay flexed. Good, inhale up. Exhale down. We want to make sure that we're not pushing on the back of the head. Hands are just placed behind the head to help keep the chest open. Good, all right. So let's go ahead and grab the ball. And we're going to start off kneeling down toward the back of the mat. So we want to, again, draw in our lower abdominals. We don't want to arch the back like this, right? We want to make sure we're tucking the pelvis, drawing those abs in. We're going to go ahead and place forearms on top of the ball. If you don't have a ball, we're just going to go ahead and go down into a plank on the elbows, lifting up onto the feet or up onto the knees. If you do have the ball, placing forearms on top of the ball. Again, we're leaning out into the ball, tucking the pelvis, lengthening the body forward, and then rolling back up. Exhale forward. Inhale as you come up. So again, we want to make sure that you're not arching that back. We want to tuck the pelvis, draw in those lower abdominals. Again, exhale forward, and inhale up. And again, if you don't have the ball, you're holding in a plank position on the forearms. Good, let's go for a couple more. Really isolating the abs, and of course, the farther out you go, the more of a challenge you're going to get. Good, all right. So let's go ahead and roll forward over the ball. So the ball is going to tuck right under the hips. Legs are lengthened, hands are directly under the shoulders. If you do not have the ball, same thing. Hands are right under the shoulders, but knees are on the mat. Legs are hips width apart. You're drawing in and up on the abs. You want to make sure you're not just collapsing in the core. You're keeping those abs drawn in and lifted. So we're going to start off, again, lengthening the arms to help keep the back flat and the upper body supported. Legs are going to stay about hips width apart. So we're going to start off reaching opposite arm and opposite leg out and alternating sides. So the head is lifted, chin is knotted into the chest. And again, we're reaching and lengthening. We want to make sure that the legs stay hips width apart, hands right under the shoulders. Inhale as we come in, exhale as we reach. Again, keep those lower abs drawn in and lifted. Good, all right, so we'll keep our hands under the shoulders. Again, lengthening the arms, keep those legs hips width apart. We're gonna go ahead and lift one leg up, and then we're gonna lower it out to the side, touch the toe to the floor, come back up, and then lower straight down. We'll stay on that side. So lifting up, angling out to the side as we lower, up and down. So you wanna make sure that the body stays square. So as you reach that leg out to the side, you don't wanna shift your weight to the opposite side. Just stay nice and square. Again, head is lifted, but the chin is knotted into the chest. And if you do want more of a challenge, you can reach that opposite arm straight overhead. That's really going to test the balance as you lengthen the leg out to the side. And again, we're reaching and lengthening through the toes. Let's go over to the opposite side. So again, we're going to lift up, angle out to the side, up, and down. So again, as you're reaching out to the side, you're not shifting the rest of the body. Staying nice and stable. Straightening and lengthening through the toes. Arms stay straight. Again, just to support that upper body. We'll keep the back flat. And again, you can go ahead and reach opposite arm out at the same time if you want more of a challenge. Good. Just try to keep the neck muscles relaxed. And again, we're lengthening and reaching, really activating the back of the legs, the glutes. Good, all right, so we're gonna go back to the opposite side. And again, we're lengthening those arms. If at any point this bothers your wrists, you can just go up onto the knuckles. We're gonna go ahead and lift that first leg up. Keeping the top part of the leg stable, we're just going to curl in, bending at the knee, and lengthen out. We'll stay on that side, so again, just hinging at the knee. Important that you keep the upper part of the leg lifted and stable. So again, just hinging at that knee. You're trying to keep the upper part of the leg at the height of the hip, if you can, but just make sure that it doesn't start to drop. It's pretty easy to let it start to drop throughout the series. So we want to again hinge at that knee, curling in as far as you can, and lengthening and reaching back out. Extending through the toes. And again, for more of a challenge, you can reach that opposite arm straight out in front of you. Alright, let's switch to the opposite side. So again, lengthen those arms, keep the body nice and square. Legs are hips width apart. Let's bring that opposite leg up. Same thing, we're just curling in and extending out. Again, just trying to keep the upper part of the leg stable and lifted at the height of the hip. And again, just curling in and extending and reaching. Don't forget about those lower abs. We want to keep them drawn in and lifted. We don't want to let them start to relax. They don't get a break at all. Again, keeping that head lifted, chin nodding into the chest. Good, let's go for one more. All right, let's lower back down. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and lift opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're gonna reach the arm all the way down to the hip, and then back overhead, keeping the palm facing down. And if this is a little bit too challenging on the ball, because it does take a little bit more stability, just drop the leg down and move just the arm. And again, we're lengthening and reaching through the fingers, keeping that palm facing down, but yet extending and reaching. We want to keep our body square. Again, so just check and make sure you're not starting to lean to one side. All right, let's go ahead and switch. So again, palm facing down, reaching and extending, pressing the front of the hips into the ball. If you're not on the ball, just make sure you're keeping those lower abs drawn in and lifted. Good, make sure that arm doesn't start to drop. Keep it lifted, lengthened. Good, all right. Let's go ahead and lower down. All right, so let's go ahead and just collapse over the ball and cover forward and back and find where you feel a nice stretch on the back. And then we're gonna slowly roll back up. So again, if you don't have a ball, what I'm gonna have you do is place your hands under your shoulders. Again, you can go up onto your knuckles if that's more comfortable on your wrist. And we're gonna lift up onto the feet into a plank position and hold, or drop down onto the knees. Either one. If you've got a ball and you want more of a challenge, go ahead and place the front of the feet right on the ball. We're gonna lift up onto the hands. You can hold stable in this position. And if you want more of a challenge, you can pull the knees in and then press back out. So again, pull the knees in and press out, keeping that upper body stable. And again, this is just if you want more of a challenge, you can hold stable on the ball as well, or just down on the mat, not using the ball at all. Again, just curling those knees in, lengthening out for more of a challenge. Good, all right. Let's go ahead and lower down. So we're gonna sit back up on the mat. We wanna lengthen both legs back out. We're anchoring our legs, flexing our feet. Again, if this puts a lot of stress on your back, just bend the knees to make sure you can sit up nice and tall. We're gonna go ahead and hold the ball straight out to the front. If you do not have a ball, you can just hold the arms out to the front, or you can hold small hand weights. So again, grabbing that ball, lengthening up through the spine, we're gonna lift straight overhead and back down. Exhale up, inhale down. The head stays lifted and stable, and we want to press the shoulder blades down the back, especially as we lift. We don't want those shoulders to shrug up by the ears. Exhale up, inhale down. Good, again, keep the upper body stable aside from the arms. Legs should be anchored, feet flexed. Good, all right. So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold the ball straight out in front of the body. We're going to, keeping the ball at the height of the shoulders, we're gonna stretch forward, gently nodding the chin in, come back up, and then lengthen overhead, down, forward, up, and overhead. So again, we want the legs to stay stable. We're just gently nodding the chin in as we lengthen forward, reaching and stretching those arms. Steady deep breaths as we go through the movement. Exhale forward. Inhale as we come up. Good, breathe through it. We're going for one more. Good, all right. Start to feel a little bit of a burn on those shoulders. So again, we'll keep that lower body stable, feet flexed, grabbing the ball on each side if you don't have a ball. Again, you're just keeping the arms lengthened and following the same movements or holding small hand weights. So we're gonna lift back up, keeping that lower body stable. We're moving the head, shoulders, and arms all as a unit to one side, twisting in the spine, and then back to the center. We're alternating sides. Inhale to the center, exhale to the side. So again, squeeze in those lower abs as you twist to the side to get a little bit of a deeper rotation. We're lengthening those arms. Work hard to keep the ball lifted. Again, exhale to the side, inhale to the center. Good, nice tall posture. Again, the head is just following the upper body as you rotate. All right, let's go ahead and lower back down. So we're gonna do one more exercise for those shoulders. Let's lengthen straight overhead. And we're just gonna angle down, touch the ball to the floor to one side, come back up to the center, and alternate. Exhale up, inhale to the side. So again, we wanna make sure we're sitting up nice and tall. Again, if you need to bend the knees a little bit in order to do that, that's okay. Straightening and lengthening arms. The head stays stable and looking forward. Slide those shoulder blades down the back. Good, draw in those lower abdominals to help lengthen up through that lower spine. And breathe. Make sure we're taking those full breaths. Good, all right, we'll come back to the center. So let's bring our legs a little bit wider. So we've got a leg on each side of the ball. Again, we're anchoring our legs, flexing the feet. If this, again, puts too much strain on the hips or back, just bend the knees slightly. We're gonna go ahead and bring the hands on the top of the ball. Stretch forward, extend out as far as you can, and then roll back up to the top. Exhale forward, inhale up. Good, and again, try to keep the legs stable. You might find that they want to shift back and forth, but we want to keep them anchored and stable. Inhale, sit as tall as you can at the top. Exhale, extending forward. Good, inhale up, and exhale forward. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna roll onto the side. Let's see how we're doing on time here. If you've got a ball, you can go ahead and place it right between the shins. So the ball will sit on that bottom shin. The top leg is pressing down on top of it with the knee and the toes pointing up toward the ceiling. And then you're gonna lower the upper body all the way down. If you don't have a ball, you're gonna go ahead and hold the top leg at the height of the hip, and then we're gonna lift and lower the bottom leg to touch the top leg. And just continue that exercise. So again, if you've got the ball, we're going between the shins, squeezing that ball, lengthening our legs, and then we're gonna go ahead and lift and lower the legs and the ball. So we're drawing in our lower abdominals. We're keeping our upper body nice and stable. And again, lengthen and reach with those legs. Good, we're really putting a lot of focus on the inner thigh, pelvic floor, squeezing that ball nice and tight. And again, it's not a very big movement. Good, all right, let's go ahead and switch over to the opposite side. So So again, we'll go ahead and, if you've got a ball, place the ball between the shins. Remember, if you don't have a ball, you're holding that top leg stable, and you're just lifting it and lowering the bottom leg to touch the top leg while keeping that top leg stable. So we're gonna go ahead and place the ball, again, between the shins, squeezing it nice and tight. Top leg, we've got the knee pointing up toward the ceiling. Relax the neck and shoulders, press the hand into the mat, and then we're gonna go ahead and lift and lower. Trying to keep the movement controlled, lengthening both legs. And again, we wanna try to relax the neck and shoulders. Those lower abs are staying activated and drawn in. Good, steady deep breaths. Again, I'll start to feel this on the inner thigh a little bit. Good, all right, let's lower down. So let's go ahead and roll onto our backs. And we're gonna lower down and prop the legs up on the ball. If you do not have a ball, just go ahead and prop your legs up on the seat of a chair, the seat of your couch, an ottoman, something that's at about the height of the ball. So we're gonna start off lifting head and shoulders up. Again, pulling the shoulders down, nod the chin in, and pulse. So inhale for 5, exhale for 5. So again, we're keeping those shoulders lifted, just gently nodding the chin in again to keep any strain off of the neck. Arms are lengthened and activated. Again, inhale for 5, exhale for 5. And let's go ahead and roll back down nice and slow. We're gonna slide the ball out so it tucks under the heels or the ankles. Again, just prop the heels or ankles up on the seat of a chair, seat of a couch, ottoman, something along those lines. So again, we want to anchor the back of the hips. We're drawing in the lower abs. We're going to lift head and shoulders, nod the chin, and again, pulse. So we're lengthening and reaching the legs. Again, inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Keep those shoulders lifted. Good, breathe through it. Draw that navel in toward the spine. Good, inhale for 5, exhale for 5. Good, let's go ahead and roll back down. And once more, let's go ahead and lift head and shoulders. Again, we're reaching and lengthening the arms. We're gonna nod our chin in slightly. This time we're gonna go ahead and roll the ball in and roll out. Inhale in and exhale out. Good, so keep that upper body lifted and stable. And again, we're rolling in, pressing out, keeping the back of the hips anchored. Good, don't let those shoulders start to drop. So again, we're keeping the shoulders lifted, but not shrugging, right? The shoulders are lifted, but we're keeping the pull down away from the ears. Good, and let's go ahead and roll back down nice and slow. All right, so again, we're gonna tuck the ball under the ankles or the heels. Again, if you don't have the ball, you're just propping them up on something about that same height. We're going to lengthen our arms, open the chest, keep the upper back anchored, and then let's lengthen our legs, tuck the pelvis, and we're lifting the hips up. And we want to hold. So again, we're keeping the pelvis tucked, a nice flat back, but we want to make sure that we're not arching the upper back off of the mat. We want to keep it pressed down. So you can hold stable. Just take some nice, steady, deep breaths. If you'd like more of a challenge, just go ahead and lift up one leg at a time, lower back down, and alternate sides. Just make sure that you're keeping the hips lifted and level. So as you glance down, you want to make sure that you're not tilting to one side. And we're lengthening and reaching arms and legs. Keeping those hips lifted, drawing in the lower abdominals. And then let's go ahead, keeping the upper back anchored. We're rolling down just one vertebra at a time, all the way down until that lower back presses down nice and tight. So again, keeping that upper back anchored. We're tucking the pelvis, lifting our hips, and hold. So we have a nice straight line down the side of the body. So again, you can hold stable. If you do want more of a challenge, this time you can go ahead and lift up one leg at a time and hold it stable. So extending and lengthening both legs. Or again, you can keep both legs down on the mat and hold stable. And then if you've got a leg lifted, we're going to switch over to the opposite side. And again, lengthening and extending. Just gently roll the head side to side, just so you can make sure you're keeping the neck muscles relaxed. And steady, deep breaths. If you've got a leg lifted, lower down, and again, we're rolling the back down. One vertebrae at a time, all the way down, until that lower back presses into the mat. All right, so one last time. Let's lengthen those legs. Anchor the upper back. Go ahead and lift the hips. And again, you can hold stable, drawing those abs in, tightening the glutes, lengthening the legs, taking those full deep breaths. For more of a challenge, we're gonna go ahead, keeping the hips nice and level and lifted. We're just rolling in and pressing out. So you're just, again, hinging at the knees, keeping those hips lifted, curling in, and pressing out. Good, work hard to keep those hips lifted. Good, upper body, nice and stable. All right, let's go ahead and roll back down one last time, nice and slow. Good, all right. So let's tuck the ball in just a little bit closer. And again, if you don't have a ball, just move a little bit closer to your chair or your ottoman, whatever you're using. Place the feet on top of the ball with a few inches in between. We're gonna, again, press the lower back or the upper back down and anchor that. And then we're gonna go ahead and draw the abs in, lift the hips up, and then slowly lower back down. So again, we're pressing into the ball with the feet, tucking the pelvis, lifting, and lowering. Good, so really work hard to stabilize the upper back, but we don't want tension. We don't want to be tensing the shoulders of the neck. Keeping those arms lengthened down to the sides. And again, just being careful that we're not arching the lower back as we lift up. We want to put all that work on the hamstrings and the glutes. Good, let's go for one more. All right, let's go ahead and roll back down. So next, we're going to take the ball in the hands, if you've got the ball. If you don't have a ball, you're gonna follow the same movements with the arms, just with the arms straight or holding a small weight in each hand. We're gonna reach the ball straight up toward the ceiling. We're gonna lift both legs up, keeping our knees bent. We want our knees directly above the hips. And again, we're anchoring that upper back. We're gonna go ahead and lower both legs down away from the body, and then just come right back up. So exhale down, inhale up. If you want to add more of a challenge to this, as you lower the legs, lengthen the ball overhead, and then come right back up. But really work hard, again, to draw in those lower abs. Keep the movement controlled. And again, you can just be holding those arms stable and just hinging at the hips. Again, the pelvis stays stable. You're just moving in the hip joint. Good, all right, let's go ahead and lower back down. So again, we're gonna reach the ball straight up. We're gonna lift our legs straight up toward the ceiling. Again, if you need to bend the knees a little bit, that's okay. So we're lengthening up. We're going to press the ball into the shins or the front of the ankles, lengthening both arms and legs, again, bending the knees slightly if you need to take any strain off of the back. We're going to lower down one leg at a time while the opposite leg stays pressed into the ball, and then alternate sides. So lowering down as far as you can, and then as you come back up, pressing that opposite leg tight into the ball. We're really gonna feel this one. We're gonna draw those abs in. We wanna keep the back anchored. Neck should stay relaxed. Good, steady, deep breaths. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you lower. Good. All right, let's go ahead and lower back down. So next we're going to go ahead and lengthen the legs straight up toward the ceiling. If you don't have a ball, you're gonna lift the legs up, but keep them about hips width apart. Try to lengthen the legs, but if you need to bend the knees a little bit, that's okay. If you've got a ball, you're gonna place it right between the shins. Same thing, try to lengthen the legs, but if that puts a lot of stress on your back, just bend the knees slightly. Again, we're drawing in our lower abs, and we're gonna go ahead and shift the legs from side to side while we squeeze the ball. If you don't have a ball, you're keeping your legs hips width apart, but still shifting them from side to side, keeping it controlled. We wanna make sure that the hip doesn't lift on that opposite side. It should stay pressed down. So you're going as far as you can without lifting that hip off of the mat. Again, we want to squeeze the ball nice and tight. If you can, work on lengthening those legs unless it puts strain on the back. Good. And then let's go ahead, bend the knees and lower back down. All right, so next, we're gonna lift the legs up again. If you don't have a ball, you're lifting up, bending your knees, squeezing your legs together nice and tight. If you've got a ball, you're placing the ball between the shins, bending our knees. So whether you've got a ball or not, you're squeezing nice and tight, you're pulling your knees in toward the body, and then pressing out away from the body. Inhale as we pull in, exhale out. Again, as we press out, make sure you're not pushing those lower abs out or arching the back off of the mat. If you are, just reach the legs up a little bit higher as you extend out. The lower that you go with the legs as you extend, the more challenging it's gonna be. Exhale out, inhale in, check the neck and shoulders. Make sure you're not holding tension there. Again, if you don't have a ball, just squeezing those legs together. Good. All right, let's go ahead and bend the knees and we'll lower back down. All right, so let's go ahead and set the ball to the side. And we're gonna go back down onto our backs. And we're gonna reach our arms straight out to the sides with the palms facing up. Let's straighten the left leg and press it down. Right leg is reaching straight up as high as you can. And we're going to circle it around, reaching around as far as you can. Down, across, up, and out. Let's reverse directions. So keep that opposite leg pressed down and anchored. Arms lengthened and reaching. All right, let's switch over to that opposite leg. So right leg presses down tight, left leg comes straight up, and again, nice full range of motion. And arms lengthened and reaching. Good, let's reverse directions. Again, aside from that left leg, want the rest of the body to stay stable. Good, all right. So let's go ahead and pull our knees in toward the chest and hold. And again, we want to pull in nice and tight so you feel a good stretch in the hip flexors, back. And then we're going to go ahead and pull just one knee in toward the chest. And we want it to come straight out from the hip again. It's not out to the side or across the body, coming straight in. So pressing in toward the body, and then we're lengthening and lowering that opposite leg down as far as you can. And again, we're just holding, Taking some full deep breaths. Good, let's switch over to the opposite side. So same thing, we're pressing that leg in right above the hip, lengthening and extending that opposite leg. All right, we'll go ahead and release. And then let's bend our knees, pull the shoulders down away from the ears. And we're gonna go ahead and nod the chin in toward the chest. And release. So again, we'll nod in and release. Again, keeping those shoulders pulled down. We're not lifting the head. Again, we're just nodding in to lengthen and stretch the back of the neck. All right, and let's move down to that lower back. So again, we're gonna go ahead and tilt the pelvis forward and back. Going as far as you can in each direction, again to release any tight spots you may still have in the lower back. All right, then let's go ahead and reach one leg straight up toward the ceiling. Grab between the ankle and the knee, flex the foot. We're gonna go ahead and pull in toward the body and hold. Take some full deep breaths. Each time you exhale, try to pull a little bit deeper into the stretch if you can. And let's go ahead and switch over to the opposite side. Again, grabbing between the ankle and the knee, flexing the foot and lengthening the leg. And we want to go ahead and pull in. Again, we're taking those nice full deep breaths. Gradually pulling in a little bit deeper into the stretch. Okay, let's go ahead and lower down. So we'll keep our knees bent, legs about hips width apart. Cross one leg over so the ankle sits right below the knee. Keeping that bottom leg bent, we're going to lift up. Grab around that thigh and go ahead and pull in toward the body and hold. So we're not letting the back of the hips lift off of the mat. They're staying pressed down. We're just hinging, again, at that hip joint. Good, let's lower down. We'll switch over to the opposite side. Same thing, pulling in, and again, take those full deep breaths. Feel some of that tightness or tension release. Good, let's go ahead and lower down. We're going to sit all the way back up on the mat. And let's go ahead and extend both legs straight out in front of the body. And we're gonna fold forward. You can grab either your feet or your legs. Just go ahead and fold forward and hold. Again, taking those nice, full, deep breaths. And we'll go ahead and slowly roll back up. And then let's go ahead and sit up nice and tall to stretch out the neck. So you can sit on top of your ball, on your mat, whatever is most comfortable for you. So let's gently press the shoulders down away from the ears, and we're just going to tilt the head to one side and then back to the center, alternating sides. So as you go to the side, try to keep that shoulder stable. You don't want to pull it up with you because we're trying to really extend and lengthen along the side of the neck to get a good stretch. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and again, just gently slide those shoulders down. We're gonna rotate the head from side to side. Again, going as far as you can on each side. Good, and then as we turn to the side, nod the chin in toward the shoulder, release up, and alternate. Again, as we nod in, we don't want this opposite shoulder to lift. Again, we want to keep it pressed down to get a little bit of a deeper shoulder stretch. Alright, then we're going to roll our shoulders forward a couple of times, and then we'll roll back. Alright, we are finished. So thanks so much for joining class today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.